G'day legends, welcome back to Murphy's Magic What's New This Week. It's me, your Aussie pal, Bo. Great to see you here. I hope you've had a great weekend and a great week so far. There's been a lot of great magic coming out and a lot more magic that will come out next week, which I'm very excited to tell you about. So let's jump straight in. Now, first things first, question time. On January 19th, I believe it was, we had a question about whether Paul Harris's True Astonishments would be back in stock. And when I made that announcement, it wasn't going to be, but we've just had word that it will be back in production and it'll be about 2 to 3 months wait. So keep an eye on your emails or on our socials for when that comes back in stock. Now, we also had heaps of people ask about the pop-up project and whether the boats would be able to have refills. We are proud to announce that we've worked with the creator and you can now pick up refills of those boats from your favorite magic shop. That's all for question time for now. We'll have a special question time in just a little bit with our good friend, Greg Petty. Woo, woo, woo. G'day mate, welcome to the Murphy's Game Show. It's me, your host, Grizzly Peterson. Well, your new host that is. Well, shall we jump in and check out what the new prizes are this week? Let's have a gander. Oh, I tell you what, that's a good looking bunch right there. Let's get in to see who the winner is this week, shall we? Ready? I don't know how I'm going to do it. Maybe I'll blink my eyes. That'll set the thing going. Ugh. I guess it'll be new every week. Maybe new every time. Oh, congratulations to our first winner for tonight. Make sure, you email me just here and I'll send them straight out to you. Good luck to the next contestants. We'll see you in just a sec, mate. Bye for now. Now, last Friday, the Quantum deck was released by Craig Petty, which is an awesome card at any number routine that you can hand out for examination after. It is gorgeous. If you haven't seen it, the trailer is available just up here. And if you want to hear more about it, Craig is joining us with a full Q&A. So stick around for that. But until then, it is available at your favorite magic shop for $39.95, possibly because there are words that it is being sold out, but more on that later. But it is available for $39.95 and you need a skill level of a beginner magician to do it. Also on Monday, Daryl's Presto Printo was released into the magic world's glorious hands. If you haven't checked out Presto Printo, the trailer is available just up here with some gorgeous key points on it. It is ultra visual, easy to learn, easy to perform. There's no sleight of hand. Everything is 100% examinable and you get the full custom cards made up, sent right to your hands, and everything is taught online by Daryl himself. Now, if you're interested in Presto Printo, a link will be in the description below where you can pick that up right now, but it's also available for $29.95 and you need a skill level of an intermediate magician to do it. Now, that's the time you've all been waiting for, Meme of the Week. I thought you thought I was going to say something else then, but I didn't. Meme of the Week, I know that's what you're really after. Now, this one is sent to us from our good friend Winter over there on Discord. Now, if you're traveling to Blackpool next week, I'm 100% certain that this is what every single cleaner thinks when they enter to clean straight after a lecture's happened. Poor sods. Now, we have some amazing news. If you like playing cards and you want to win some cool playing cards, our good friends over there at Howlin Jacks have now released the Trash and Burn Blues. If you have the reds, these are a little bit similar, just different colorways, but they've also upped the stock on it, so they handle a lot better. And they also have played around with the tuck case to offset things a little bit more, just make things a little bit more fun. Now, if you want to enter into the competition to win a custom hand-painted garbage truck stocked with a brick of these cards, go over to our Instagram and Facebook and enter in the competition. Link will be in the description below for both of those platforms. Good luck. Good luck, baby. Now it's time for the vault check. Take it away, bro Gilbert.
This is the Consultant String by Ananth Viswanathan.
So, to help to understand the art of medicine, it might be good to consider the three principal strands. We have the doctor, we have the patient, and the most important strand in the middle of them are the mutual bonds of knowledge, trust, and respect. Of course, the real art of medicine is to take these three strands and combine them into a thread of wellness and health. Thank you.
Now is the time for us to spread the word on some awesome reviews taking place over YouTube. This week we want to mention All Access Magic and their awesome reviews and all around amazing channel over there on YouTube. Definitely check it out. But this week we want to talk about the gravity rule and the review that they did. Definitely check out the full clip of it on their YouTube channel, but here is a short snip of the thing itself.
After receiving this product, it literally, I started feeling for the first time in a really long time how I felt when I was just getting into magic. I felt like a kid again, literally looking around my house and being like, what magic could I make with this or like that? And like,
now that was a little thing to wet your whistle. Definitely check out the full video over on their YouTube. Link will be in the description below. Check it out. Oh, welcome back to round 2. Let's see who won this one, shall we? Good luck. What are we doing? Oh, we'll do this. That'll get it going. Oh, congratulations, you legend. Congratulations. I hope you enjoy your prizes. Make sure you email me just here and I'll send them straight out to you. Now, after Friday's release of the Quantum Deck, we had an abundance of questions come in from you guys over there on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram wanting to know more about this awesome project. So we sat down with Craig Petty and answered all of them. Let's jump in and see what we had to say. What Craig had to say. Look, we had a lot to say. We had a lot to say. But thanks so much for joining me. We had quite a few people asking about Quantum Deck, which is really cool, and it's really.
And you know, it's been so nice that so many people are really super into it, which is because you worry as a creator, you know, you kind of worry and you kind of go, well, I hope people like it, because, you know, you spend so much time creating it and performing it and working on different ideas with it and making sure it works. And then, okay, this doesn't work, let me do this. This doesn't work, let me do this. And it's a period of time that can take years sometimes, depending on the routine. Mm-hmm. And then you get to a point where you kind of send it out to everybody and you kind of just sit there going, I really hope people like this. But it's been very well received. I think there's some people that are like, that they have questions, which is obviously why I'm here, because you know, there's chatter on places like the forums and the cafe about how does it work, how does it not work, and without seeing the tutorial, it's very difficult. You know, there's a lot of nuances and there's a lot of subtleties in the Quantum Deck that make it work. Yes. And that's why the tutorial is 5 hours long. Yeah, that's it. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's 5 hours long because of all the different routines. And in reality, and you know this well, because I know you've seen the tutorial for the Quantum Deck, within 20 minutes, if you just wanted to perform the routine that you saw me do to Adam Wilder on the trailer, within 20 minutes, you could learn that from the tutorial. The other multiple hours are routines, handlings, concepts, and different things that you can do with the Quantum Deck. And I think that's the big thing that I want people to understand. It's not a card at any number. It is marketed as a card at any number, but it's really a utility device that does a lot more. It does forcing, it does transpositions, it does mental, it does so many different things you can do with it. So,
well, that was one of the questions. Yeah, no, that was literally, you just pretty much answered all my questions that I was going to ask anyway. So I think we're done.
There we go. See you later, bud.
See you later. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. Because that was one of the things, people asking, can you use this as a forcing deck? And that was like the second day in. And I was like, oh, I can't give anything away because obviously it's in the tutorial since then, but you can.
So yes, because what the Quantum Deck does is it allows you, within reason, to have somebody name a number and have a card appear at that number in a deck that's completely blank. So you could, for example, write something on every single card and have somebody name a number, deal down to that number, and it's a forced thing. And I'll give you an example. On the tutorial, I teach my baby gag routine that I do on stage, and you actually see a full performance of me doing it on stage at the Smoke and Mirrors bar and theatre in Bristol, which is a beautiful theatre. And by the way, there's an hour of live performance footage in front of real people.
Oh, there's like, what, 13 performances, 14 performances?
Yeah, there's like an hour, yeah. And so what I do with that is I take a Quantum Deck and I write on every single card a celebrity. And my fourth celebrity is Brad Pitt. So I come out on stage and I say, hey guys, I've got a prediction here. We'll get back to that in a little bit. I also have a deck of cards. They're blank, but on the other side, you can see I've written celebrities. There's 52 celebrities here. You, sir, can you name a number from 1 to 52? Whatever number you name, I'll deal down to that number. They name a number and you deal down and you show each one. You say, as I deal each card, I want you to see that each celebrity is completely different on each card. Deal. And when you get to their number, that's the That's the
celebrity.
That's the fourth celebrity, yeah. And then you go into the traditional baby gag, and you see me perform that on stage. But that's an example of how you can use the quantum deck as a way of forcing something. It doesn't have to be about playing cards. There's so many other things that you can do with it, and not just a forcing deck. You don't even, some people have said, I've seen a couple of comments saying, "Oh, I don't want to bring a deck of cards out in front of an audience. It's going to look weird bringing out a deck of cards." Well, one of my favorite routines to do with this thing is called Wipeout. And what happens with that, and again, there's a performance of me doing that live on stage. It's a close-up piece, but it also works on stage, and you see me doing it on stage. And the concept behind this is beautiful. You bring out a regular deck of cards that they shuffle. You have them pick a card. The card's lost into the deck, they shuffle again. They put it in the box, and then you take an elastic band, wrap it around, and they hold onto the box. You then say, so you shuffled, you took a card, you shuffled it back into the pack, and there is no control. And you say, I want to imagine now that all of the ink is fading off the cards. All of the ink, all of the red ink off the back of the cards is fading off. I want to imagine that all of the ink off the front of the cards are fading off. And there's only one card left, and that's your card. Now I want to imagine that card is going up and down in a state of flux throughout the deck. And when I snap my fingers, it stops. What position does it stop in? And they say, and then you go, well, let's open up the box. And you open up the box, and now every card is blank. And you say, what was your number? And they say, and you deal down, and the only card still printed in the deck is their card at that number. Every other card is blank, and the cards are examinable.
See, that's what annoys me, because I gotta be honest with you, I was trying to create a routine where I would have show a deck, and every card would disappear, and you'd have the spectator's card or the spectator's chosen card, the only one that's in the deck. I was using friction ink, I was using all these different methods, and you've just solved this for me, and then even made it 10 times better that it's now examinable. Like the fact that
it's not just that every card has disappeared. Every card has disappeared other than their card.
Yeah.
And they decide at what position in the deck it's in.
Exactly. See, that's
so now it's not level. Yeah, so it's now not a card at any number. It's like an elevated version of the nudist deck.
Yeah.
And that's an example of how you can take this to another level. Another way that I use it, for example, is I'll bring out the quantum deck, and it'll be completely blank. There won't be a card in there, and I'll show it, and you can have someone hold it, or you can put it down on the table. And you say, look, I've got another deck of cards here. Take a card. They take a card. They sign a card. You lose it into the deck. And then you take the blank deck back, and you say, by the way, hold on to this deck, which they do. And no palming, by the way. And you say, right, in this deck, in a second, I want you to think of a position somewhere in the middle. There's 52 cards. Think of somewhere. Can you do that for me? And they say yes. And you go, look, I'm going to make your signed card disappear and appear in this deck at a position that you think of. Done. They look through their regular deck that you've been using for whatever routines you want to use. Their card's gone. Now you take the quantum deck and you go, what number were you thinking of? 25. Great, let's deal down to 25. And now at that position is their signed card. So now it's not a card at any number. It's a card at any number mixed with a signed card to impossible location that's done out in the open.
That's insane. Yeah, because I was going through, there's 8 tutorials, including your card at any number, which you show on the trailers and stuff. There's 8 different performances, like different routines that you can do with this. So
we've got ways of doing it. People are saying, oh, it'd be better if it was an ACAN. We go into so many different ways that you can actually use it as an ACAN, multiple different ways. Very, very, if you wanted to do an ACAN with the quantum deck, the easiest and most simplest way of doing it is to put a deck of cards down on the table, have another deck to force a card. It's prepped with that card. So you go, right, you've thought of a card. Now it's down in the deck, and they name a number and it's at that position. So they thought of a card. You can use digital force bag. But we go through other methods as well. Like I explain how to do this prediction deck where basically what happens is they name a card, free choice of card. They name a number, and down in the deck, the card is there at that position. And it's got prediction written on the back. So there's lots of different ways that you can turn it into an ACAN very, very easily.
I love that. It's like one of the questions is how long you've been performing this method and what inspired you to create it. It seems like you've been performing it for quite a while, right?
Yeah, I don't know how long now. Probably 2 or 3 years, maybe 2. I can't remember exactly, but 2 or 3 years, I think, something like that. Maybe a little bit longer. I'm not too sure. What inspired me is I was looking for. Basically, I was trying to come up with the concept for a different trick. So I wasn't trying to create, I was trying to come up with it. I'll tell you exactly what the trick was I was trying to create. I had this wonderful idea for a trick where somebody names a card, a free choice of card. Somebody names a free choice of back design, and somebody names a position in the deck. And there's a blank deck down on the table, and you get these 3 pieces of information, and down in the deck is the card at the position with the back design done. And that's what I was trying to create. And I was coming back from a gig, and I was with my friend Nemid, and I basically turned into Rain Man. It was a 4-hour drive back in the middle of the night. And I was there. I was working on the blank part. And I was like, hang on a minute. I was like doing maths in my head. It was so frustrating because I didn't have a deck with me. And it was in the middle of the night. So I was like imagining blank decks of cards. And I was like, hang on a minute. Would that work? No, the maths is wrong on that. Hang on a minute. And I think Netmid was scared to death that I was having some sort of weird fit. And it was like this for 4 hours. And at the end of the 4 hours, I'd come up with the basic concept of the quantum deck. And I was like, okay, that's good. And I put that aside for a few weeks because I was still trying to work out the back design element. And the idea that I had to work out the back design element just didn't work. It was just terrible. And I couldn't make it work. And I was like, and I almost dismissed the quantum deck. I almost thought, well, that's not going to work. Yeah. And then I took the deck that I made as a prototype for that trick. And I was like, hang on a minute. This is actually a really cool thing on its own because I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. And that's when I started working on different routines with it. And I was performing with it a lot over lockdown when we were all doing virtual shows. It's a perfect virtual trick.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Because you're a worker magician, you do a lot of corporate gigs and stuff. And then obviously with lockdown, because that was my next question of, obviously over lockdown, how did you give it like the test runs? You gave it virtual, you teach a whole virtual routine, right?
Yeah. So you can perform it very, very easily over virtual, but it's also something that you get to perform live. And I remember the first time I performed it to magicians, because one of the questions that I've had, I don't know if you've had it, is, can you really perform it to magicians? Because I perform it to Adam Wilbur and I go, if you were here, you could examine the deck. Yeah. And here's the thing, if you're performing it to laymen, there's no issue with handing that deck out immediately. You can examine it. Oh, yeah. If you're going to do it to magicians, you have to prepare the deck a little bit. And there's a section on the download where I talk about preparing. Now, in all honesty, I never perform for magicians. Oh, yeah. Ever. Really. Yeah. It's not something I do. Because I'm a commercial close-up performer. I'm a commercial stage performer. I perform to real people. That's who pays my bills. However, I wanted to try it out at a lecture. So I was like, all right, okay, what am I going to do about this? Because they'll probably see this method. So I prepped the deck for magicians. And one thing that you'll see on the tutorial is how to prepare your deck to perform to magicians. And you see a performance of me performing it at a lecture at Smoke and Mirrors in Bristol with a magician, a very knowledgeable magician sitting there next to me. I do the trick and then they're just picking up the deck and examining it and they just don't have a clue. So yeah, it can be performed for magicians. I don't know why anybody would want to, because at this point, I think every magician in the world has got the quantum deck. So, you know, you're going to pull out your quantum deck and I think whoever you're performing it to is going to go, oh no, that one. So I just don't see why you'd want to. But, and also if you're going to prepare it to use for magicians, you would then have to use that deck for laymen as well. Yeah. No, like you said, we're not performing for magicians, we're performing for people that pay the bills, right? So yeah, for sure. And also too, I don't think that was going to be the next thing we're going to go into, because you said about every magician in the world has quantum deck. Well, not every magician, because we've officially sold out, mate. It's all done. Well, not all done. We're in the pre-orders now for May. Why are we doing this interview again? To let people know that this is all the things you can do. I don't need to hype this thing. I've got their money. Go away. Fine. So that was the thing, is we had like a lot of people wanting to know questions, and that's we're talking about how much hype this got. We kind of weren't expecting it either, but when it got out, that was one of the things, because you are in your videos on YouTube, you go on about the trailers and whether they're 100% to what they are. Your trailer. That's because we were getting scrutinized. People were like, is this exactly what it's going to be? And it is. It is exactly what you see in the trailer. It's frustrating because there's been people commenting on places like the Magic Cafe, and they say, oh, hang on a minute, this can't be examinable. Craig's lying. And I've had that a couple of times on various different places. I struggle to understand how people can make that statement without watching the tutorial. Oh, yeah. I just don't understand. But also, it is examinable. Ask anybody who performs it. It is fully, completely. And I know it's hard to believe, and it's hard to get your head around how a gaff deck can be examinable. But because of how the deck is constructed, and because of how you perform the routine, and because of the nuances that I go into in the tutorial, you can immediately perform the trick and have it examined. Now, the question of whether you want to have it examined is a completely different thing, because when we were filming the trailer for this and I was getting the live performances, I had to force people to want to look at examine the deck. They were freaking out. And I'm like, you'll see a couple of performances where you can examine everything, and I leave the deck on the table and they just don't want to examine it. They don't, they're just going, whoa. And so there's a couple of times Lloyd, who was filming it, was like forcing them, going, pick up the deck, examine it, look at it. Are they all blank? That was the way that because it's not about the deck. It's really not about the deck. No. It's about the impossibility of what they've seen. And I talk about that on the tutorial. And they're not going to want to look at anything because it seems so fair. Yeah. It's like the perfect example is the invisible deck. Now, there's a deck that can't be examined. But when you do the classic invisible deck, which is done by people all over the world, and you reveal that card that's face down in a face-up deck, nobody has ever turned around to anybody and said, can I examine that deck? Yeah. That's never a question with the invisible deck because the focus is on the one card that's turned over. It's never been examined, and nobody has an issue with that. With the quantum deck, nobody wants to examine the deck. But I've made the very bold statements on the trailer saying, well, the audience can examine the deck, and they can. 100% examine the deck. Layman, absolutely not an issue. You can perform this. You can watch the tutorial, get the 20 minutes, go and perform it, force them to examine the deck, absolutely fine. Magicians, you're going to have to do some prep to the deck first, and you're going to have to listen to the advice that I give you on the tutorial. If you're really that bothered, you can have the deck examined by a magician. But to be honest, I made that deck for the tutorial. I call it my magician fooling deck. I don't even know where it is now. I don't. And if I was going to perform it to a magician, I'd just show them the normal version of the quantum deck. To be honest,
because that's in itself is fooling. Like, I left the deck out yesterday. I had to go cook dinner, and I left it on the counter while I was playing with it. My missus picked it up, and she knows magic because she's obviously been around me for quite a few years, and she was even spreading through it, and she didn't pick up what it was. So like, that's what I mean. Like, she knows a little bit about magic. So you get magicians out there already getting fooled by it, right? So it's definitely one of those ones that you don't need to for a magician. So keep it as it is. Keep it as it is. Jen, the magician, wants to know: is it easy to reset? Like if you're doing walk around or corporate stuff?
It's immediate. I mean, regarding walk around, you can do it in the spectator's hands. You don't need a table. But in terms of resetting, if you think about it, depends on the routine. All the routines are instantly reset, but each one of them is a slightly different concept in order to reset it. But if you're talking about the main card at any number performance that you saw on the trailer, all you do, you've dealt down to say 20, for example. There's 20 cards down on the table. They've got the one printed card, and you've shown it, and that's it. All you have to do is print the printed card onto the cards on the table, take the rest of the cards, drop them on top, put them in the box, it's a reset.
Wow.
It's instant, immediate.
That's perfect.
This comes back to the fact that I'm a working magician. Yeah. So when I release something, it has to be commercial. This isn't going to be something that you can perform with one hand tied behind your back, tilted slightly to the side at a 45-degree angle with the sun hitting just the right. It's not like that. It's not like a TikTok trick where you have to be in one static point at one point in order to make it work. It's an immediate reset. It's examinable. It's easy to do. You can do it in the spectator's hands. You don't need a table. It's designed for walk around. There's no angles. It's a commercial trick. And I know people are like, that's impossible. You're talking ridiculous. But, obviously there's negatives. And you know this, Bo, when you create a magic trick, there's certain trade-offs. There's always trade-offs.
Oh, yeah. There's no such thing as real magic, right? So
there's no such thing as real magic. So you look at, let's take Assy Wynn's trick, Assy Wynn's version of any card at any number, for example, which is an amazing version of any card at any number that I've performed for years. The downside to that, or the trade-off with that, is you have to, you're using and you have to do a really difficult move while the audience are burning your hands, which Assy can do brilliantly, but it's not an easy move to pull off. You look at something like The Grail, by Mike Rose, which is another incredible version of card at any number. Well, the problem with that one is you might have to do a move when you take the cards out of the box, and not everything is examinable depending on the version you do. Everything has a trade-off. Now, with the quantum deck, I wanted it to be able to reset instantly. Tick. I wanted it to be able to have no angle issues. Tick. I wanted to be able to do it in every environment. Tick. I wanted them to have a relatively free choice of a number. Tick. I wanted all of this stuff. I'll be honest with everybody because the ad copy is very honest. Here's the two trade-offs I have. I could live with these two trade-offs. There were two trade-offs when creating the quantum deck. The first was the spectator cannot deal the cards.
Yeah,
that's the first one. You cannot hand the deck to the spectator and have them deal the cards. Now, for me, that's a non-issue because you deal the cards yourself so cleanly. I didn't feel like that mattered. But that's the first trade-off. That's the first negative. The second negative is that you have a limited range in which the number that they can pick. Now, it's not, well, it is and it isn't. We talked about this in the ad copy. The range in terms of what they can, and I've got an exclusive for you here, Bo, which I'll get to in a second, a super exclusive, which only two people in Murphy's know right now, which is me and Lloyd. Not that I'm in Murphy's, but nobody else knows this. Right, okay. So the range was, there's a hint on the thing that I'm dropping in a minute. The range was 10 to 31. So if they name within 10 to 31, then you're golden. You're absolutely fine. It's not a problem at all. If they name less than 10 or over 31, you have three options. Two options, really. The first option, well, three options. The first option is you move them to a number that does work. So let's say they said 3. You go, well, it's not near the top, or I said somewhere in the middle. Try again. The second option is you do a move, and I've got 3 different versions of the move on the project, a completely self-working version and a version that requires a little bit of skill, but not too much, and that's done under misdirection. So let's say they say 35, you go 35, no problem. You sure you want 35, and you're done. And with no moves, you've just moved it into that position. The third, we go into a lot of concepts of how to limit somebody's choice of number. And there's a couple of different ways we do this. And the first way is we talk about some concepts that Barry Richardson has done. We also talk about using concepts in order to limit their number. So for example, I'll give you one example because people say to me, how can you limit somebody's number? If I said to you, Bo, what month are you born? What would you say?
March.
March. And what's the date in which you're born?
The 2nd
of March. Okay. Wouldn't work with you because that's really low. But if you've got a group of like 7 or 8 people, you say, okay, what month are you born? Great. What date are you born? What month are you born? What date are you born? Fantastic. Okay, well, here's what we're going to do. Let's use you. Your date of birth is the 20th. Your month is July. Would you like to go, we're going to use that to create your personalized number. Would you like to just use the 20th, or would you like to add the 20th to July, which is the 7th, and create a new number? It's up to you. Either way, I'm in range. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you can have a card where it says happy birthday on the back. Another example, which is one of Lloyd's ideas, which is brilliant, is you say to 4 people, each one of you is going to think of a number between 1 and 10. 2 of you are going to think of high numbers. 2 of you are going to think of low numbers. It's up to you, but above 5 and below 5. So the numbers they might think of is 8 and 9, for example, and we're going to add all 4 of those numbers up. So 8 and 9. Well, 8 and 9 is 17. What number did you think of? 3. Okay, that's 20. What number did you think of? 4. That's 24. So rather than just naming a number, I've got all 4 of you to think of a random number. We've added it together and we've created a new random number that nobody could know.
Yeah.
So and that will always end up within range. So there's many different ways of structuring it to have them go within range. So that was the second trade-off. Having them get, there's a certain range that you need to hit, and outside of that range, you either shift them back to inside range, or I'm a move monkey, so I just do a move to shift it into the right position, which is super easy to do. Here's your exclusive. I got contacted by a guy called Frank, who got the tutorial of the project when he bought it from Vanishing Ink. And he's watched the full tutorial, and he said to me, have you ever considered doing this? Because this effectively changes the range from 10 to 31 to 8 to 35.
Wow.
And I was like, that's genius. No, I hadn't thought of that. And sometimes you're so close to the thing, you can't see the wood from the trees. And it's not anything, it's literally just moving one card. There's no change. It's still an instant reset. It's still genius thinking by Frank. Then I looked at it and I was like, well, that's a really clever idea. but what about if we do this? And then I actually increased it even more. So now the range is 7 to 39.
Oh, wow.
And we haven't told that anyone yet. Me and Lloyd on Thursday are meeting up and we're filming a new section for the tutorial where we go through a new trick that I've done since filming the tutorial about a year ago. A new trick, and also, as well as that new trick, another way of how you can extend that range. So now it's 7 to 39 instead of 10 to 31. So now the range has been massively extended. And thank you to Frank for coming up with that original idea. It's stupid that I didn't think of it because it's staring me in the face. But I think the reason I didn't think of it is because for me, it's not an issue, because I always shift people within range or just do a move. So it's not an issue for me. And he's looked at it and he said, do this. And I'm like, oh, and then we could do that. So yeah, me and Lloyd are filming that on Thursday. By the weekend, it's going to be in everyone's account. So before they get it shipped over to them, it will be in the tutorial on Murphy's. And anyone who's got the tutorial link already, that will be added up. And we're also going through a new trick with the quantum deck as well. So we're adding a new, probably adding about an extra half an hour of performance footage and half an hour of tutorial. So it's now about 6 hours.
Strap in, you're in for a good day of watching, which is great. There's so much to learn. There's so much to bloody learn in this. And why did you release this? Why didn't you keep it for yourself and go on Penn and Teller Fool Us?
Why didn't I go on Penn and Teller Fool Us? The simple answer is I'm not into that. Like people say to me, oh, well, you should be on TV. When I was younger, I'm 45 now. That's not my thing. I'm not really, I don't want to be a TV magician. I'm happy doing what I'm doing. And you got to understand that I left the magic. I don't know if you know my situation, but I left the magic community for about 10 years, focused on building a business, which is quite successful, and then came back into the magic community. And my goal coming back into the magic community was just to try and, I've got to a point now where I feel like I've got a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience, and I wanted to share that with magicians around the world. And that's why I set up my YouTube channel, Magic TV. People say to me, oh my gosh, how have you got time to do 26 videos a week? These videos are amazing. And the reason is I wanted to give back. And I don't want to do tutorials on YouTube because everyone's doing tutorials on YouTube. So if I've got a trick that I think that would benefit the community, how I get that out to people is by working with people like Murphy's or 1914 or Alakazam or Penguin or whoever it might be, because that allows me to push those products out to people. And that's why I'm only bringing out stuff that's been worked for years or stuff that I think will really benefit the community. So why haven't I held it back? As a creator, I think one of the best feelings is when you see somebody else do your trick.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember going to a restaurant about 5 years ago, and the magician there didn't know who I was. For Adam, he had no idea who I was, but he came over to my table and he performed Keymaster. I can't tell you how that made me feel. It was so exciting to see somebody else perform a trick that I've created.
Yeah.
And it's just wonderful. So why didn't I hold it back? It's because I don't want to hold this stuff back, because I know, especially with something like the quantum deck, because the quantum deck, we've talked about how it's a tool. We talk about how it's not just a card at any number, but it is instead a utility device. I think that the best tricks that are going to be created with the quantum deck are going to be created by people that buy this trick. I've said to Lloyd yesterday, he needs to set up a Facebook group for the quantum deck, because when people get it, they're going to be coming up with some really cool ideas. And I'd love to have a Facebook group that Murphy's kind of regulate, where we can share each other's ideas. And I think that the best trick that is going to be done with it is going to be done by somebody else. They're going to come up with something and it's going to be absolutely incredible.
Well, what we'll do is we'll create that up today. So when this video airs tomorrow, there'll be a link in the description below for that Facebook group. But you'll have to prove that you actually have the deck, so you're not going to go down and learn the secrets.
Yes, and you'll have to make sure that you bring a goat to sacrifice on
that's it. That's the entrance video.
Yeah, we want commitment.
No, Peter's going to be calling us up. Going, what's going on? Oh, geez. Well, so these are sold out everywhere. Do you know anyone at Blackpool's going to be having these in stock? Because that is probably 90% of our comments and questions are, is this going to be at Blackpool? I'm trying to buy this. Is it sold out?
I'm speaking to Lloyd. and Murphy's at the moment about something that maybe we could do. I don't know if it's going to come off, but I would love people to have it at Blackpool.
Yeah.
But what I can say is maybe there's a maybe 50% chance that there might be some at Blackpool. If there's not, I will be at Blackpool.
Yeah.
And I will have my quantum deck with me.
There you go.
So I will more than happily show people the trick and show people how it works. And it is available on back order now.
Yes.
Having spoken to the guys in the creative team at Murphy's, they are working very, very hard to reduce the amount of time. I know you said May. I know that they're trying to push that forward a little bit.
Yes.
If they could to like April, that would be absolutely amazing. But you know, I saw somebody make a comment and go, "Oh, weren't Murphy's more prepared? They should have been more prepared. They hyped it for ages. Surely they should have known that it was going to be this." Well, first of all, we didn't actually hype it for ages. It felt like it was hyped for ages, but there were just 4 one-minute videos that went out. That's it. It's not like we spent 6 months doing a marketing cap. 4 little videos that were put together, one each day before the launch. That's the first thing. It wasn't really hyped that much. It felt like it was because everyone was talking about it, but it was only like a week before that we even announced what it was.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, I don't think anybody, you know, I mean, Murphy's had a good amount of stock.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you were underprepared for this. It's just, I don't think anybody has ever seen a trick do this well so quickly. So, you know, I don't think it's ever, Lloyd was telling me it's broken Murphy's sales record. So it's not that Murphy's weren't prepared. I don't think this has happened before.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. We're working in Murphy's, sitting on the back end, we would get emails saying, okay, all hype's going well. We're discussing things. We had plenty of stock. Not giving away how many stock we have. We have plenty of stock. We're used to getting, because obviously we've made all the stock. We know how much we had. We had a lot of units. And on the day it went out, shops were buying it up. And I think we sold out on our end within 24 hours. Like, I think it was less than 24 hours. We actually were cleaned out. But we couldn't put.
Well, I know I had text messages from Alakazam, Peter Nardi at Alakazam, text me after it went live for pre-sale on their site saying, we've sold out of all of our allocated units in 1 hour.
Yeah, that's it.
And Prop Dog, Alex from Prop Dog was like, never seen anything like this. It's all gone in 1 hour. Like, I think, and Vanishing Ink put a thing up going, hey, sorry.
Yeah.
We've gotten on. You know, I think it.
Well, that's it. I was linking in, because obviously we have to link in shops when we put it up. I was linking, like I was telling you yesterday, we were linking a shop to a shop to a shop. I was chasing shops around to see who had it in stock. And every time I'd link one in, within a couple of hours, it'd be sold out again. So it's just, no one knew how this was going to go. Obviously, it shows by how good an effect it is that people want to pick this up. So,
yeah, exactly.
Well done, mate. Congratulations.
No, thank you, Bo. It's like I say, it's very heartwarming because you sit here and you know you create this stuff and you test it and you test it and you take it out to gig and you test it and then you show it to people and you're like, right, okay, that's wrong. And then when you actually release it to the world, having feedback, and I've had so many messages from people that say, you know, watch the tutorial. This is great. You know, the tutorial is worth the price of the product alone.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what I wanted to do. You know, I mean, you look at the last thing that went through Murphy's, which was Visible through the 1914, you know, that's 5 hours of video right there on how to use the invisible deck. You know, I brought out the Beyond Stebbins project with Alakazam. That's 3.5 hours. I want to give added value. I hate it when I see a trick and it's got like a 10-minute tutorial because I think there's a lot more that you can do with it, and I'm never just going to release a trick that's like a 10-minute tutorial. I want to squeeze every little bit out of it that I can. That's my ultimate goal.
Well, that's the best part, because having it be 6 hours long, now 6 hours coming end of this week, you know that you put the groundwork in. Where you get something that's about 10 minutes long, you know someone's just thought of it and went, I will put this out, and they haven't put it through the ringer, really, so to speak, by performing it live. When you know you have, you put it through everything, you've thought of every nook and cranny. And when something comes up that you haven't thought about, like you said, you've been too close to it sometimes, someone points something out, you go back and you refilm it and you add it back in so people know about it, which is amazing. And it's even going to be more so now with the Facebook group. Oh, it's going to be insane.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see what people come up with.
Me too.
I cannot wait to see what people come up with. No, it's great. It's great. Thank you
done,
to
man.
everybody that's bought it. Thank you to everybody, and I'm sorry to everybody who hasn't.
It's all right. Come
really
April,
sorry.
May, you'll get it. You'll get it. That's it. Thank you so much for joining me, Craig. I really do appreciate it, man.
You're more than welcome. Thank you. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you, Bo.
Stop it.
100%.
You make me blush now.
It's true.
I appreciate it. It's true. Well, I think I'm on your channel soon too, right? So we'll.
I'm doing an interview with you. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'd love to. I can't wait. I want to find out all about what makes you tick.
Yeah, pick my brain. That'll be good. Thank you so much.
It'd be nice to see you on the other side of things and answering the questions instead of asking them.
No, that's good. It's tit for tat, right? And then
yeah, absolutely.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much, Craig, for joining us. I really do appreciate it. And anyone else have any more questions, put them in the comments below, and we'll send them on to Craig and hopefully get those answered as well. Cheers.
Awesome. Any questions? Let me know.
All right, here we are, the third and final winner for tonight. Thanks to everyone who's entered. Good luck to our final contestant. Deborah lent me her mic, so let's have a squiz of this one. Still my best Deborah impersonation there. Oh, there you go. Congratulations to our third and final winner for tonight. You ripper, you. So congratulations. Make sure you email me just here and I'll get those prizes right out to you. Now, if you do want to enter into next week's competition, just comment win below and I'll add you straight in. So thanks so much for everyone who joined and good luck to everyone next week. Bye for now. We'll see you next week on Murphy's Game Show. Cheers, mate. Now we come into the sneak peek section of this week, where this Friday we have Rewrapped by Brandon and Chris dropping into the world of tastiness. If you love gum effects, definitely don't miss this one out. Even if you don't love gum effects, this is not one to miss. This is incredible because a lot of the gum effects you have to do weird slides, but this one you can actually hand it out afterwards straight to the spectator and you can even munch it up yourself. It is gorgeous to watch. Let's see a little clip of it right now.
Welcome to Rewrap. This is an excellent routine that gets great reactions. You take a piece of gum out of your mouth, you stretch it, it turns into a fresh stick. You then take it and wrap it. Then you can actually put it away or open it back up and re-chew a piece of gum. Let me just get a new piece real quick. There we go. That's good. Look, I'll just wrap it up like this too because, because then look, you can just eat, you can just get a new piece. And here.
How good was that? Now, I have to be honest, I'm definitely going to pick this up because it is gorgeous. And the fact you can actually hand it out afterwards is chef's kiss. Now, Rewrapped is available this Friday for $24.95 and you need a skill level of a beginner magician to do it. Keep an eye out on our YouTube or our other socials for that trailer. It's gonna drop Friday. It's gonna drop Friday. Now, next Monday, Kim Anderson is back with Shrapnel. This is a beautiful, beautiful safety pin routine. Let's see a little clip of it right now.
And it melts. It looks better. I love magic that uses everyday objects, looks impossible, and is highly visual. Shrapnel uses two things that everyone knows: a simple ring and a safety pin.
Now we're going to stop the trailer just there so you can wet your taste buds with tantalizing delight, waiting for that to drop next Monday for $34.95. And you need a skill level of a beginner magician to do it. And the fact that everything's examinable, oh baby, it can't get any better than that. I can't sing. Well, that's all we have time for What's New this week. Thanks so much for joining me. I've been Bo Creamer. I really do appreciate it. If you've got any questions on the Quantum Deck, on Shrapnel, anything like that, please throw them in the comments below with hashtag question time so I can find them super easy and I'll answer them next week. Other than that, I really want to know what you picked up this week, what you're learning, whether you picked up the Quantum Deck or whether you missed out and now you got to wait for the next order to come in. Let me know in the comments below. And if you did enjoy the video, please like, because it's no longer Smash Like December, but it really helps out the video anyway. And if you're also there, consider hitting the subscribe button if you're new. I really do appreciate it. And it also keeps you notified on when new projects drop or when new videos and exciting prizes and giveaways happen. Other than that, we'll see you next week on What's New This Week or on Saturday on our weekly Discord jam where we're having some cool giveaways. So thanks so much for joining me. I really, really, really do appreciate it. Take care. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.